Okay, so I've set you up on the tripod now. I accidentally pressed the button, but so this measures voltage. So if, for example, I take the voltage that's coming out of the what would go to the speed controller on this power management board, pop them in the end, we get 15.66. So that's the direct feed from the battery. That makes sense. That's what goes to your motor. Now, if I take the black wire, which is negative, and the white wire, which should be 5 volts, you can see it's roughly 5 volts. It's close enough. It'll do. So what I'm going to do now is put that back how it should be. Let me just unplug that. Just don't want these thirtling about. White goes there. Black goes next to red, which is 12 volts. Now the reason why those cables are out is because they're so far away from each other. It was just easier to do that, so let me just poke those plastic tabs back in. Helps to put the pin the right way up. Okay, so that is the good one dealt with. Now, if I put in the one that we're having issues with, make sure the wires aren't touching. That's a bit of an unfair thing if I short it out just beforehand. So if I do black and red, so it should be 12 volts. Black and white. 12.6 volts, close enough, that'll do. Now if I do negative and white, which again should be 5 volts like the other one, as you can tell, it's actually getting the full battery amount across. So that's what's fried it. The 5 volt rail, instead of being 5 volts, being 15. And the thing is we probably would have got away with this if it wasn't for those meddling kids. But also if, for example, this was put in something like a ZHD, which is, 7 volts, wouldn't have been a problem. But yeah, and that's not from the Beck. The Beck, let's give the Beck a test while we're here. Have I got the... No, it's over here. Just test the Beck output voltage. It's outputting bang on 6 volts, 6.02. So that's what's wrong with this power management unit. The 5 volt rail is putting out 15. And that's what's unfortunately killed our FY41 here. So, based off of that information, if we have a look on here, can we... What I might do off camera is try and follow that trace. Damn it, I took the other one upstairs. if we put this on to BPM bob setting, as I call it, so now if you touch the two together, turn it on. So, based off of the known one, which is in here, 5 volts doesn't piercing say what a ball I have to say. I'm just going to plug that for now. Oops. I'll plug that in. Not with the power in, don't panic, I'm not that daft. So, just on the other plus, right, okay. Which, position the board the right way round. That's the one above the dead tin. So, but the question is, where does it go after that? I don't know enough about electronics to fix this. Pit. I can't see where the trace. The idea was, could we override circuitry? I think that continuing to try and diagnose the problem is what's probably cooked this. At some point it's just given up the ghost, unfortunately. I don't know, is the question to this, or the answer to this. We know what happened. Actually, let's have a dissect of this, shall we? The actual thing that's clearly caused this problem. The power management unit that's cost me about 100 quid. I've never had a look at one of these. This is going to be interesting. It's essentially FY41 itself is broken, otherwise I was going to try and hobble together something on this to make it work. Okay, so we have a brand on here actually called Leaving? It's fucking leaving smoke everywhere. So it looks as if your current sensor's sort of this top section. Let me actually show you. So it looks as if, where's the camera? This current section, this up here, that's a fairly typical current sensor, is this section. And then this section is your back. Or effect, as it may be. I can fucking see what it is, ladies and gentlemen. I generally don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not. Let me get something. Are you unplugged? I'll unplug you because... Let me show you what the problem is, ladies and gentlemen. Can you spot it? Where's the camera? Right there. That clearly... Pardon me. I bet that's what's causing the problem. I wonder if I get our equipment here. Yeah. So that's to the 5-volt pin to that. What I might do is send this video to Feiyu Tech, because clearly, you know, this hasn't been flown. You can watch the full build series if you really want to show that this has not been flown. But you can clearly see this capacitor, where we're looking, or whatever it is really annoying, because honestly what I would do is unsolder that and solder in a 5-volt back, because honestly I have a suspicion, just to illustrate. So here's another one of these 5-volt backs I like a lot. I could have soldered one of them in and sort of done it up, but clearly that is what the cock up is. What I'll try actually, for the lols, because I'm sure FY are not going to do anything. I'll unplug the bastard. Bollocks. I'm fairly sure that FY won't do anything with this. They'll just say, oh, it's too old, or oh, you've taken it apart. When, you know, the good customer service thing to do is send me a new one, because I'm so glad it hasn't knackered up both of them. This is the working one. I've had so many of these, and the only issues that I've had with them, I've only had issues with them once, were my own doing. Actually, I'm not going to bother doing that, because if they do want it back, then I can show it them. But another thing is what I would do. So it's the white lead that's your 5-volt wire. I would just unsolder that off. Unsolder that little chip that's the problem, because that will disconnect the power from everything. And then all I would have to do is on our 5-volt back, what I would need to do, let me use these to illustrate. So imagine these are the two wires coming off of our back. All I would have to do is tap the black wire onto that to ground everything, and then the 5-volt out onto the white wire, and that would be it. That would be it sorted out. The only other thing it could possibly be, there's clearly some sort of potentiometer here. Maybe that isn't lined up correctly. That's clearly not right. I'm not sure if that's 100% what the problem is, but it's clearly not right. What's annoying is that's fixable, in terms of I can just disconnect the 5 volts from that, and even so I bought a 12-volt FPV back, so it's 12 volts. I forget how many amps, and the receipt's got on the floor. Ideal for FPV, but unfortunately not of any use. So I'm going to be making this into some sort of episode on the Talon, as well as the teardown of the FY41AP that's damaged. Feiyu Tech, if you're watching, I do really like these FY41s. They have their issues due to their age more than anything. As I say, this is the first time one's been faulty out of the box. I'm certainly going to, whenever I get them in the future, get them as and when I need them for projects. And 2, check the voltages coming out of your fucking shit power supply units. But That's what the problem was, ladies and gentlemen. Someone at the factory ballsed it up. It also means that no quality control was done, because I'd have thought they'd have some sort of block that they'd plug this into and go, right, that's putting out 5, that's putting out 12, excellent. Clearly they don't, which is concerning. And again, or just, you know, it is just concerning. That's really, really sucky, because that's like 100 quid's worth down the drain. I will send this video in to Feiyu. I will say, look, you know, the FY41 was getting hot, the power manager was getting hot, it said it was pulling 25 amps when nothing was happening. It fried the FY41, nearly fried another that I was testing it with. Took the power supply unit apart and that's what I found. Will you do anything? I don't think they will. I think they will not give a flying fuck. But we'll give them the benefit of the doubt and give them a good old college try. And we'll see where we go from there. But it's obvious as well, like, I'm not an electrician by any means. I'm probably calling this a capacitor and it isn't a capacitor. I don't know, a voltage dropper, resistor. But again, that's the problem, ladies and gentlemen. Right there. Well, hope you like this video. It's going to go in this box, which I'm going to invert. Can't even invert these new boxes, that's annoying. And just put faulty. That's the good one, that can go in this box. And honestly, with it being 5 volts, it could have fried so much more. And end the video here, tidy the bench. Write a snotty email to Feiyu once the video is up. And